Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Adelina and I make videos about living in my tiny house on wheels and living a more intentional life. And on Wednesdays I try and share a recipe of some sort. Today we're going to make, let me just start by saying I love potatoes in any format, and one of my favorite things is potato bowls. And so I thought today what I would do was make some individual Mexican inspired potato bowls. I'm going to make them in my large muffin silicone mold, and the nice thing is that you can freeze them if you don't eat them all right away. So I'm going to show you the ingredients. I'm going to get my mashed potatoes going in my Instant Pot. If you're not sure how to make your mashed potatoes in your Instant Pot, I'll link a video down below where I show you how to make multiple things in the Instant Pot, one of which is mashed potatoes. But everybody knows how to make mashed potatoes. It's not hard. You either boil them on your stove or you cook them in an Instant Pot, and then you make them however you want. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to show you how to make the mashed potatoes. I just want you to make some and then we will start assembling. But in the meantime, I am going to show you my ingredients, get started prepping the filling. So basically for these mashed potato bowls, these Mexican style mashed potato bowls, you're going to make your own mashed potatoes. However you like to make them, just make a batch of mashed potatoes. And then some salsa. I'm using this fire roasted salsa, Western Family. Some black beans. In the freezer, I always cut up extra vegetables when I'm cutting, and so I have them in the freezer. So I have some chopped red pepper and some chopped yellow pepper. So really basically that's probably half a pepper of each, but you could do all of one color. You could add green, whatever you want. I also have in there some frozen chopped up green onions, and then one small onion, and then some sort of plant-based ground. Now, this one is already flavored. This Yves Mexican veggie ground is really good in tacos and any kind of sort of Mexican-inspired dishes. If I wasn't using one that was already seasoned, I would add some taco mix. Try and get one that's low sodium. This one has 30% less salt, still a lot of salt. I'm not going to use this today because I don't need to, because this is already seasoned, so it is extra fast. And then some sort of Tex-Mex blend cheese. You could use this Daya Cutting Boards Mexican 4-cheese blend. This is really good. It melts nicely. I really love this new Mexicana vegan block. It's got chilies in there. It's really, really yummy and got lots of flavor, and it melts really well as well. So I'm going to use that. This is what we're going to use to make the filling for our bowls. So I'm going to get my potatoes into my Instant Pot to get them cooked so that I can make mashed potatoes. And then we'll get started making the filling. Awesome. All right, so the mashed potatoes are going to start here right away, or the potatoes are going to start cooking right away. They're not mashed potatoes yet. Use my knife. So I'm just going to chop up the yellow onion or white onion, whichever one you want. You could probably even use red onion here. I thought I had some corn in my freezer, but I don't, which is unfortunate. But I would put corn in this if I had it. But basically, put whatever vegetables you want to use in there. Beans, corn, peppers, chili peppers, jalapenos, whatever you want. Just add in your veggies. Tomatoes, you can put chopped tomatoes. So that's all the chopping I need to do right now because I already have the rest pre-chopped. So I'm going to open up the can of the beans and rinse them. You do want to rinse your beans here because, well, if you don't rinse your beans, you get the gas. I'm not going to use the whole can of black beans. I'm going to use about a cup of them. I'm also not going to use the whole amount of the salsa. I'll use about a cup of that. So I'll leave those to sit and drain. And then this fire roasted salsa is awesome. It's from Western Family. I believe they only sell it at, Save On Foods here in Canada, and I think they also sell it at Co-op, but not at Safeway, I don't think. So, but any salsa that you like with anything in it that you like. I probably wouldn't use a salsa that had pineapples or mangoes or fruit in it per se, but that's just me. So now we're just going to open up this Mexican ground. So again, you can use whatever you want. You can use Beyond Meat, Impossible Meat. Light Life sells a ground. Yves is what I'm using. I'm pretty sure Tofurky also sells a ground, and they sell one that's kind of like a chorizo flavor, also really good, and got lots of seasoning in it. Because, like I said earlier, I'm using this one that's already pre-seasoned. I'm not going to add anything else to it, but if I wasn't, I would add that taco spice, or you could add chili powder and cumin, you know, whatever, if you make your own. But okay, so that's open. Got the onions and everything. I'm going to get everything sauteing. So let's go to the frying pan. All right, so I'm going to let that start to saute because we want that to get soft. It's not going to spend a whole lot of time in the oven, so we want the ingredients to be cooked before they get in there, because really the oven is to meld everything together and to melt the cheese and give a little color there. While those are sauteing, I'm going to grate some of the cheese. Ooh, that's starting to sizzle. So I'll keep an eye on it because I don't want it to burn, but I do want it to saute, so I've turned it down a little bit. All right, so of this Mexicana block, I'm going to use about half to start. I think that will be probably enough. I hate grating cheese. My one arm gets tired from doing it, and I can't do it left-handed. Am I the only one that hates grating cheese? But the pre-grated cheese, like the Daya cutting board Tex-Mex one, is pretty good. But in general, I don't find that the grated cheeses melt as well as a block cheese, whether you're using vegan cheese or not, because of the I think what they put in there to keep the shreds from sticking to each other. So it's always best if you can grate your own. And if you grate too much, just put it in a bag and put it in the freezer. And then you've got it, or in your fridge if you're going to use it right away. And if you're not going to use it right away, put it in your freezer, because that way you've got it whenever you need it. You can freeze cheese, again, of any kind, but it gets crumbly. So if you're going to freeze it, pre-shred it before you freeze it, because you won't be able to shred it after you pull it out of the freezer. It'll just crumble. Not a bad thing, just not shredded, if that's what you're looking for. All right, good. That's so good. Best part about being the cook is you get to taste as you go along. Seriously, that's really good. Okay. All right, the onions are getting translucent and cooked. So turn that down, and I'm going to add the Yves Mexican ground. Just break it up. Now this is likely going to be more filling than I need for my meal. So I'll do one of two things. Either I'll make a second batch, or I will save this mixture and I will use it in another dish. Maybe chili on a baked potato. Maybe I'll freeze it. Don't know. Now that ground is cooked, so it's not like it really needs to do a lot of cooking, but we're going to add now the black beans, and the 1 cup of salsa. And I'm going to let that cook a bit until some of the moisture from the salsa has evaporated. And then I'll give it a taste. I don't think it'll need more salt. Rarely does anything ever need more salt, but we'll see. We'll see if it needs more spices. It's getting warm in here. All right, so I've done my dishes to give this mashed potatoes a little bit of time to cool off. So I gave the mold a little spray of olive oil spray. And the first thing we're going to do is put the mashed potatoes in there, and we want them to come up the side. So I might have to use my fingers for this. Let me just put a bunch in each one. So with my mashed potatoes, what I did was I put those green onions in. So basically a couple of green onions. And then I did actually add a little bit of parsley as well. Dried parsley, fresh if you've got it, I think would be good. So I'm going to use my fingers for this. They're clean because you want to make little bowls, little cups of mashed potatoes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want to be skimpy with the mashed potatoes. I mean, come on. Mashed potatoes are life. Got to have lots of mashed potatoes in there. The cooler your mashed potatoes, the easier this is going to be. But then you just have to, they just have to warm up again in the oven. So, you know, and these are like little individual pies. If you had those little mini pie plates, that would work really well for this as well. So now we can add some of the filling, and here's what it ended up looking like. Again, use whatever veggies you like in there, but I think beans are required and some sort of a ground of some sort. I said that word twice, but you know what I meant. Make a mess. Now these aren't going to be finger food because the cups aren't going to get that firm, but they are fun food, which is good. And as you saw, super easy to make. I mean, especially if you make your potatoes in the Instant Pot. Very easy. Okay, so I now have them filled, and I'm just going to mound a little bit of the cheese on top of our shredded Tex-Mex blend cheese. I have the oven preheated to 375. And I'm going to put these in there for however long it takes for that cheese to be melty. Everything in here is already cooked. It's not like we have to worry about that. We just want the cheese on here to be nice and melty. So we're going to put this in the oven, and we'll be back when those come out. Oh my gosh, I'm starving. So we're going to pull these out. I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to eat because I am starving. So there they are. And I got it out. It's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. It just has to be good. So let's taste this. Oh my. Holy cow. It's hot, but it's so good. It's delicious. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You don't have to use a meatless crumble in here. You could just add more beans. You could use TVP, but it's delicious. And I think once these cool, you could take them out and put them in your freezer to just warm up. If you have those little foil mini pie plates, you could make them in there. All I can say is anything on mashed potatoes is delicious in my mind. It's a win. So I hope you give this a try. I'm going to go eat this and another one, sit down and relax, because it's been a busy week already and I am tired and I'm hungry, and it's getting late because I had to wait until these cooled off so I could eat them, and I still burn my tongue. Anyways, guys, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I love you, and I'll see you next week.